Humans interacted with nature from the dawn of civilization for survival. For the most part of human history, humans have maintained a harmonious relationship with nature that ensured food security. Due to the breakdown of this harmonious relationship, food security is at risk. Indigenous people have naturalized the culture and culturalized the nature. Indigenous perspective of human-nature relationship and perspective of a food protector instigate us to rethink the issue of food security.
The food issue in terms of our people and through our Indigenous view, through our Indigenous eyes, and through our Indigenous livelihood is that we are connected with the food. It is a more natural form of protein. All the nutrients are pure. There is no added ingredients, GMOs, any of that kind of stuff. Now that you see when you go into Safeway, Superstore, or whatever, that's all just a product, like you say.
I've been in the grocery business since I was 15. My parents built a grocery store, and a friend of mine got cancer, and I had to start reading labels because there's a lot of stuff she couldn't have. You start reading labels and you realize that most of the stuff in that food-like product isn't really food. If you can't pronounce it and you don't know what it is, why are you eating it? Why are you feeding it to your children? Some of the land development that's happened, we've lost a lot of the land-based resources that we used to live on. With the flooding and the hydroelectric dams, it's flooded a lot of the wild rice fields. We can't depend on that the way we used to, so we have to be able to grow a garden because a lot of the natural foods that were here aren't here anymore. The wild meats that a lot of people used to live on, there's the deer and the moose populations aren't as strong and as healthy as they used to be. There's so much food that's in this land that has been slowly dying away because of the damage that people have done to the land.
The animals have sicknesses that were never there before. The birds have sicknesses that were never there before. The plants have sicknesses that were never there before. And this is a natural byproduct of industry, of technology, of the way things are being created now. When something burns and there's pollutants or toxics in that material, it goes up into the sky, it lands back on the ground.
Kids to be able to survive on this land if they ever need to, and they need to be able to know what they can eat and what they can't here. It's very hard to teach them because there's so few wild places left where everything is in original growth. A lot of times when they cut down a forest, they'll come back and replant with something that wasn't there. So if you replant with trees that weren't there, you're coming back with animals and plants that weren't there. And that's changing a whole ecosystem, so you can't go back and depend on that wild food anymore because it's not there.
The deer, they cross these hydroelectric lines and they eat around that area and they get sick because they ate the pesticides. And the geese that land and the ducks that land on the fields, it's the same thing. They are being poisoned. The plants, the stuff that comes from the sky, it's poisonous. This is what we are finding in a lot of the wild meats that have sustained our people, the stuff, the food off the land that we have relied on for so many years. And the very thing that we have tried to protect, Mother Earth, is being affected by overdevelopment.
If anything ever happened to McDonald's and McCain's, we won't have anything to eat. So our kids need to be able to know what's safe out there to eat and what isn't. They need to know which animals to watch.
It'd be very hard to get back into the natural state that the Creator had meant the food that sustains us to go back to being the same again because of the development. How was our life like 200-300 years ago? it wasn't such wigwams, and it was in such a way where we didn't need any technology. Life was simple, but we had what we needed. Everything was around us. We got up early, we went and harvested what we needed. Sometimes we'd work all day, but that was the way it was.
Everyone should know where their food comes from, and they should have that security in their food system so that you're not going to get sick. Food should be our medicine. We shouldn't need to take pills from a doctor because we should be eating for our health. And if we were really eating for our health, like the elder was telling us earlier, they didn't need a doctor 80 years ago in this community because they were eating their food off the land that they've always lived and ate forever, and they weren't sick.
Our people have suffered diabetes because of the food that's been provided to us by big food corporations. That is not our natural diet. Our natural diet is wild rice, fish, moose, deer, berries. That's what kept us healthy. And now we're eating stuff from off the shelf you have to open with a can, and there's preservatives in there, and that's what we eat. Our bodies are not meant for that.
The food that you're eating has got no pesticides in it. There's no fertilizers used in it. It's all natural, and it's healthy for your body, and it helps you grow instead of harming you. It's for kids to learn how to grow the food they cook. You need to be able to take that food out of your garden and make it into a meal that's nutritious and appealing for everyone to eat.
Now a move, getting back to the land, teaching our young people how to hunt, trap, and fish, so that we can go back to the way that we used to eat.
Indigenous and food protectors' perspectives instigate us to rethink the issue of food security. Therefore, the issue of food security deserves rethinking from the perspective of human-nature relationship.